Well, hey there, YouTube. It's Petey, and I'm here with the new powered mixer. Let me try turning this down. So yeah, here's the amp, power switch for the amplifier, bass control, treble control, master volume. Then you have the built-in MP3. This switch here turns the power on for the MP3. This switch here turns the power on for the powered mixer. And then this switch turns the power on for the amplifier. So this is a Behringer 1002B, which runs on 3 9-volt batteries. You can also plug it into the wall. And I have the power cord. The power cord is really long. It's tempting for me to want to plug in. There is an outlet where we play, but I went ahead and set it up for battery operation. So how it works, there is 4 3-packs of 4-volt batteries, 18650. Those are the batteries that's in a Tesla. So 2 and 2. Each pack is about 12 volts, and they double up to provide more capacity. Now, those run through voltage regulator circuits to drop it down to 9 volts. So there's 2 9-volt battery packs and then 2 9-volt battery packs with voltage regulators, or two 12 volts, 12 volts. And the reason for 2 isn't to make 24 volts, it's to make double the capacity of 12, okay? Parallel wiring. And the deal with the this mixer running off of 3 9-volt batteries, one of those is only used for the phantom power. Now, we're not using phantom power, so there's going to be no phantom power. And like I said, there also is going to be no 9-volt batteries. This mixer runs for about 2 or 3 hours on a pair of 2 9-volt batteries, like 2 energizers. So I'm hoping that using, 3, 6, 12, a dozen of these batteries, 18650s, is going to give me like the equivalent of 4 or 6 or 8 9-volt batteries, as far as in the time we can run the mixer. So it's strapped in with plumber's tape that I spray painted black. And this is it's a case. It's like a little briefcase that I bought at Goodwill and put this handle, plastic nylon handle is bolted onto the side. Okay. And we have a carry bag for this too. It's got a flashlight, an LED, high power LED flashlight that we got, and then there's cables for the speaker cables, and some foam rubber. And it's like a zip up, like a nice case. Goodwill again, probably $2.99. So on the back here we have the connectors. These are you push the tab in and the cable comes out. And this is incredibly hard for you to get the cable out. Like these lock-ins, these were cheap. They were eBay brand. So on the back of it, there's the right satellite, the left satellite, and then the sub. And then here's the fuse for the amp circuit. Here's the power input. It's a 2-prong. This is an aviation connector. I ordered this. That's why I didn't test this amp, and then we found out the amp didn't pass signal. These cables here run down to the power amp input. So this is the master out, and these are really cool RCAs that we got at Goodwill. They're really cool RCAs. And then these were expensive. I got 2 of them. I wish I would have been able to get a 10-pack. They're like brass 90s that plug in 1/4 inch, and then you can access with your RCAs. So this is the output. This goes to the power amp, and then this input here is from the MP3. So this board has high, mid, low, monitor, and then an effects loop. And there's gain for every channel. There's mic inputs, special preamps, British preamp, EQ, optional battery operation. Yeah, it's we went to get this board used at Guitar Center for $50, and we got up there, and I brought all this stuff. I had a case with me to test it. I had like headphones, I had a signal generator, I had batteries, I had all this stuff, everything I could think of to bring to test, different adapters to plug into the signal generator to access every port. Because I'm like, this is Guitar Center used. This is all the guys that work at Guitar Center buy something there, and then they break it, and then they take it and sell it. So we go in there. It was in the next state, which it's not very far. It's like about an hour and 15 minutes. So we fly down there on the highway. We go in there, and I go, yeah, I'm here to pick up the mixer So we go back to Pro Audio, and it was like an African American guy and then a younger white guy. And I'm looking at them both, and the African American guy is just glaring at me. So I said, I'm here to pick up the mixer. I'm looking at them both. So the white kid helps me. So he goes, okay, here we go. Now you can go. And I go, no. I'm going to test it. And he goes, oh, you don't need to test it. You tested this when you checked it in, right, Joe? To the African American guy, and the guy goes like that. So I said, oh, well, that's great, but I'm going to test it. I'm not handing over my credit card until we test it. So he was like, what do you need to test it? I said, I've got everything here, but if you got an outlet. So they took me in the back, and they like moved something. There was like an outlet on the ground, and they had to like open up this like cover for the outlet, and they were like, here you go. Do you need anything else? And I was like, look, I'm buying a used mixer. Do you mind if I test it? You know? So we go, and the first channel I plug in was 2, and it didn't pass any signal. So it's this 10-channel board. You've got like the first 2 channels are 1 and 2, and then you've got 3 and 4 right and left mono combo. So it's like 1 and 2, and then stereo, 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 and stereo. And they're all pretty much the same, but one out of 1 and 2 doesn't work, and that's one of the channels with the preamps. And I called them, and I showed them, and then they went and got the manager guy, and I said, "Look, it's a duo. We need 2. we don't need 2 mic preamps." Because basically how it's going to work is this is going to be mono bass coming in that nice preamp channel. She gets that nice preamp. I don't need that preamp. I mean, neither does the bass, really. I mean, that would maybe for a microphone. Anyway, yeah, this is going to be my stereo channel here, and then the music comes in on this. That's these red and white ones. So the long story was that they, I was like, look at, I need this mixer. We've got a gig. Like we have to take it right now. But you've got to, you know. So they gave us, we paid $23 out of the door for this Behringer 1002B. Now, mind you, one of the channels is bad. I opened it up and looked at it. There's never been any liquid spilled in it. It's in beautiful condition. So obviously somebody plugged something into the second channel that they shouldn't have. Somebody blew that second channel. I looked at it. I didn't see anything out of order, and I buttoned it back up. So yeah, you want to look at the inside. These are the voltage regulator circuits. These are LM 2956 or whatever. I forget what they're called. They've got a little adjuster and you adjust it. So yeah, I've got to fuse this stuff. I've been putting batteries in backwards. But yeah, there's the MP3 board. Is this green one up here? There's the MP3 board. Here, these two batteries run the MP3, and then there's two 3-packs and two 3-packs for the voltage regulators to get that double 12 coming up, busting down to 9, and then it comes through. The power for the mixer comes through. There's a latch on the bottom, like if you flip the mixer upside down, there's a cover. You unscrew it, and that's where the batteries go. So that's where I tied in the voltage regulators. These wires coming off these V-regs terminate in 9-volt battery snaps. So it comes through this hole and then goes up through that plate in the mixer. I cut a notch out of that. It goes up through that. We heat shrink tubed everything, and put instead of a grommet, I just put extra heat shrink on it. And those come up. And the first time I tested this, it didn't work, and I was just like, oh my god. And what I had done, I had put the 2 battery snaps instead of on the ones for the amp. I put, because there's 2 for the amp and then there's 1 for the phantom power, and I was over 1. I was running 1 phantom power and 1. So I was just like, I was so relieved when I caught that mistake. And then the power amp didn't work. So this is the new power amp board. It's rated at, you can run it off of 30 to 50 volts, or 30 to 48. We're running it off of 40 volts. Off of a lithium ion. Do you have that battery? The e-bike battery?
Yeah.
Anyway, here's the amp board. It's 150 watts for the subwoofer, and then 150 watts, or wait, it's 300 watts for the subwoofer and 150 per channel for the satellites. That's what it's rated at. Now I'm sure it's going to be closer to 80 and 160 or whatever. Who knows? I mean, are we really going to be using more than 15 per channel? It's nice to have all that power, just so it doesn't. With a bass, you need a lot more power. And here's the power input connector. That's that aviation connector. So here's our battery. This is the e-bike battery, and you turn it on like this. It does a little. It does a little. It does a little Cylon light show for you when you turn it on. And there's a fuse here, but I've got an outboard fuse here, and then this is that aviation connector. So you install the 14 batteries, the 18650s in here. Two of those 14 run the MP3. The other dozen, 6 and 6, run the mixer. And then the power amp, this sucker just sits next to it. This battery, you have this sitting here, and then this sucker will sit next to it or go on the back. And that's the new setup. Now, would you mind grabbing me the board that blew? The board that didn't. We had a board that didn't pass signal, and I hooked it up to 4 sealed lead acid batteries because I thought maybe it was the fact that I was only giving it 40 volts and it wanted 48. And it 2 of the capacitors blew on it because it was like 51 volts and the max is 48. So I did blow 2 of the capacitors on it, but that was after it wouldn't pass it would not pass audio. So this board here, we're probably going to get another one of these. This is a little heavier than what's in there. It's kind of the same rating. It's a different chip. I don't know. This board's a little heavier. It's got a bigger heat sink. And there's an additional control too. That one only has 3 knobs. This one has master volume, treble volume, treble, and then bass volume. That one has volume, treble, and bass. So we'll see. I mean, we're going to be going out and testing it. Well, I'm testing this tomorrow because I built it. It's ready to be tested. This amp board just came in, right? 2 days ago?
Yesterday.
Yeah, came in yesterday. So we're probably going to replace this. We're going to see how that amp board does. Probably try one of these out. And then we'll have one as a backup. Not just a board as a backup. But we've got a whole nother system as a backup, which is a little smaller. It's got a monoprice 12-volt mixer on it. And it's TPA 3116D2. It's supposedly 50 and 50 for the satellites and 100 for the sub. And that's a 24-volt system. So that's what we played, the video that I uploaded the other day. And there'll be more videos. That's what we were using as the lower powered system, which is fine, but this is a little bit more power. I know it's going to sound better. I don't know if we're going to be louder. It's just going to be like cleaner power. The bass is going to be tighter, and it's just a little less distortion on the bass. We got a new mic for the camcorder. I'm not sure about that, if I'm going to run the old one. I was getting really good sound with this technique of close miking and then and just getting the bass and the guitar kind of, and then adding the track, the drum track in on the mix, just like having a copy of the drums and mixing that in there. But that gave a little bit more definition. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this all works out. I know that the old mixer was a 12-volt mixer. This mixer is 9-volt bipolar, so that's 18-volt. It's bipolar. It's just a better mixer. This is going to sound a little better, I think, and with the more power, it's going to sound better. So maybe we can get just a tighter, less distorted sound. Maybe it might even be a little less volume, which that's something to be said about acoustically and with the microphone. But I've got a new multi-effector. It's all this new stuff. And this battery is what we're going to be using for a while. This is a $449 battery. It's a 48-volt lithium-ion e-bike battery. So, I mean, who knows? This is all ever evolving. It's always changing. But it's like, at this point, I'm done. I'm not going any more power. If the mixer breaks, I'm getting another Behringer mixer. This same thing. Like, I've kind of come to arrive at where we're at with this. The only other thing I could do is maybe have an external MP3 player. I've got a few of them here. I build them in little cases. If I could find better quality it has to have a remote. It has to have a memory card. They sell them on eBay from $5 to $25. But I think I'm tripping. I think I'm just like, I had one blow because I put the batteries backwards in it, and I'm going to be fusing that or putting reverse polarity diodes. So it's all going to get worked out. Like I said, I'm done. I'm at the end of my rope as far as this hobby goes, because I can't go up anymore, and this is enough power. You know what I mean? We're at where we needed to be. I cannot wait to get out and test this and get the sound right. I know it's going to be an improvement. It was such a soul-crushing blow when this fucking amp didn't work. I cannot tell you how this messed me up. This not working. This really, really messed me up. This represents an incredible amount of work. Just like the looking on eBay and the reading in these pro audio forums, these guys that play around with these amps. All these tech heads who really know what they're doing, the scientific stuff, and oh my God, it's the amount of time I've wasted. Where if I had, $50 to throw here and $50 to throw there, I could just be doing it. Order a new one every week and try it out. But we have one 2.1 board. One. And before that, we were doing it with, we had like a 50 by 2 that we would set up a PA and have the drums play through that. And then my wife would have like a 50 by 2 and have 2 cabinets for her bass. And then it was like separate stuff and all these batteries all over the place. I was like, you know what, we could with these 2.1 rigs, if this works, like we'll try it. And you can get the what we're using now, you can get for $20 that board. The TPA 3116 D200, it's 200. It's 50 by 50 and then 100. So you could slap one of these together, like if you had a little mixer and you wanted the jam. You could build a setup like this as long as you have some PA speakers, a couple of PA speakers, and especially if you have a sub, because with the 2.1, bass player can play right through that. So you can jam out, make your own. Oh, forgot that. You can get some jam tracks, get some Pink Floyd jam tracks, and play comfortably numb. That's what you would do. All right, you guys. Thank you for joining me. Or wait, how about some Judas Priest or Alice in Chains? That's more your speed. You're a rocker. Fucking idiot. Anyway, that's the powered mixer. And we're going to be doing a remote very soon with that. Playing our all original music. The horrible two-finger stylings. Me and Gopti. So, peace, and take care of yourselves. Oh yeah, be nice.